Bearcat Bounce Podcast. Ooh, back at it again. Monday. That's right. Monday following. You remember what happened on Saturday? Woo! Boy, oh boy, did it happen on Saturday, Monday. Big win. Road trip, Kansas, Fog Allen Fieldhouse. No one wins there. No one ever wins there. Except for Kansas. Except for the Bearcats. Monday. We're going to talk about that. Very special talk, but of course it's a Monday that the football offseason workouts, heavy full effect. Phase 2 weeks ago, fully engaged. Team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 group winning. We're gonna talk about that because we are joined by longtime friend of the show, absolute beast, absolute stud, the best of the best, man, myth, legend. Congratulations on the contract extension. Without further ado, gentlemen, Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, Ryan Royer, and Nico Palizzetti. Gentlemen, how are we?
Wow.
Yeah.
What an honor to be back. What an introduction. Thank you, guys.
Epic beast.
That's the sitting ovation, by the way.
That's more than I could ever ask for.
I would give a standing O, but I do every show naked below the waist. You guys just
Starting out hot. Very nice. Very nice. Well,
Nico, if only you knew what happened in context last week.
I at least a little bit of something there.
It's a beautiful moment.
I'm blind in the freaking woods right now.
It was Valentine's Day special. You know how they do like the kiss cams at these games, at these sporting events. It was the touch tip cam, and Ryan and I were just together 1-on-1. Chad and Aaron left, and
we gave him a moment.
We shared a moment. Go back and watch the YouTube version. You can get a good look at it.
Or don't.
It's like the Sistine Chapel, you know, like where like the Michelangelo. Who is it? Yeah, that. Yes,
beautiful.
Exactly. It was amazing. I mean, we can try and but nah. Anyway. But gentlemen, how are we, man? What's up, Chad? What up, Nico? What up, Aaron? What up, Brian? How are we?
What up, Brad?
Not much, man. Not much. Ready to have a nice little pod. But Nico, did you watch at all the basketball game this weekend?
Highlights, and sent a bunch of text messages to congratulate people. So I'm really excited. 4-game win streak, man. I'm fired up for them.
Yeah. It's a magical day there. Chad, how are we, man?
Good. Had a great food weekend. Hit a little taco truck for dinner on Friday.
Ooh.
Had some. I brought out the grill. It had been a while. Grilled some pork chops on Saturday, and then made this really weird chili yesterday that was kind of a mix between like chili and pot roast.
Okay.
It was delicious. It was different.
Weird, but delicious. It's a good way to put it.
It was good stuff. It was like it had the big chunks of chuck roast, and then you shred it up, and it had the chili base. But the weirdest thing was to thicken it. Did you know that if you just put diced up corn tortillas in liquid, they evaporate and work as a thickener? I was completely unaware of that. Like if you got it had the beef, and then it had the beef broth, and then you cut up 8 corn tortillas into like little squares, and you drop it in the liquid, and it just dissolves and acts as the masa acts as a thickener.
Oh. The more you know.
It was delicious. It was very good. If you want to, the recipe is at Meat Church. If you're not a Meat Church person, you got to go to meatchurch.com, watch their videos.
No free ads, but yeah.
I want to get him as a sponsor, but I think he's an SMU guy.
Oh.
They're out of Dallas. They're based out of Dallas. But yeah, their stuff is amazing.
Wow. Okay. Well, that sounds tasty.
It's very good.
Tell you what, it's funny you bring that up, and every time you go out to a little Mexican restaurant and you like start pounding away at the salsa, the chips and salsa, and you like have like a full entire bag of those chips down, and then you're like, wait a minute, I just ate like
I haven't even eaten dinner yet. Yeah.
10 full tortillas just down the gullet. But awesome. Aaron, how are we? What's up, man?
We're doing all right. We got the 1-year-old coming off of croup, the 3-year-old getting into croup. So we got some things going on here. So it's been a lot.
I feel a croup coming on. A croup coming on.
You could give me 100 guesses and I wouldn't be able to tell you what croup is.
Says the guy with no kids.
Okay. Well, I hope you are able to survive that.
I didn't know either.
Yeah. Me and you.
Something you guys have in common.
I'm liking the ambiance you have at your studio. It's a little like dim light.
I switched computers. I can't figure out this dimmer on this camera, so we're just doing it. It's fine.
No, it's like bring back like fireside chats. It's a good look for you. I like it. You look really nice. You look really nice. Royer, the man, how are we?
I'm good. Good, man. Great weekend. Got the U.S. hockey gold medal game. But the huge win at Kansas. I was amongst some of my peers. My buddy Andrew Sizer thinks we're all the way back. He's putting us on bubble watch. So
hey,
sometimes you gotta get the opinion amongst the population, and the population's starting to feel a little bit excited. So I'm right there with them, and had a good time seeing a big win followed up by an even bigger win in the hockey game. So yeah, that was a bigger win. I have to be completely honest. The men's gold medal.
USA.
Incredible.
Country over university. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think we can roll with that.
I mean, I said this today on the radio, guys. Winter Olympics, there's a lot of stuff that I have a hard time getting into. Nordic skiing. Like, it's cool as shit that somebody can ski 10,000 kilometers and also shoot a gun along the way.
Yep.
But we got women's figure skating. We got men's and women's hockey. Like the USA won the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe add curling next time. But like we got the three things that we came.
Well, we got the Canadians were cheating, I guess, right?
Yeah. And curling,
they were touching tips on the freaking stone.
They were illegally touching tips.
Yeah.
And like the talk behind that, it's like curling is like a gentleman's sport.
Yeah.
So you like, there's no referees, there's no officials there to like say like, oh, he cheated. So instead, it has to be the opponent that points it out, and then Canada can be like, no, we didn't do that, and then just like kind of roll with the punches and gentleman's sport, which is it's interesting, very interesting. But no, yeah, it's that overtime in Olympic that 3v3 is not for the weak, man. That is some intense fun. But hey, a win, USA on top, and Canada thinks that they played the better game overall. But in the end, it's just who wins, right? That's all that matters. Is 2-1 victory for the USA. Shouts to the boys. Shouts to the boys. But you know what? Shouts to our boy. We finally got him back. He's the white whale every single time, and this time he's fresh off a contract extension. So congratulations first and foremost. And on top of that, another offseason fully brewing. So Nico Palizzetti, welcome back. How are we, man?
I'm humble to be here, and thank you. I'm really grateful. I know it's been a while since we've spoken, and so the fact that we get to all gather around, sponsored by Danco. Are you kidding me? What more can a man ask? So I appreciate you guys.
Let's go. Sponsored by Danco. Look at you. Did you? You got my text. I said you got to do the Danco read. So good job. That's pretty flawless. Yeah. Shouts to Danco Transmission Auto Care. $10 off your next oil change. 10% off your next fixing. Danco Transmission Auto Care. Cincy Light Studios, and we're ready to rock and we're ready to roll. Let's dive right into it, Nico. Before we go forward, let's take a step back, and I just want to, because this is NFL Combine week, so just sprinkle a little bit of knowledge. I mean, everyone listening knows the four guys that are heading there to Indy that obviously have big time success as Bearcats, and hopefully what they're going to show out in front of, combine fans and teams and all the coaching staffs and front offices. But Jeff Caldwell, Joe Royer, Dante Corleone, Jake Golday, are we going to get some freaky reports out of them in Indy this weekend?
It's always a little unnerving because you have such high expectations for those guys, and they work hard, and they're going to represent well. Yeah. I'm really optimistic. I can speak on the behalf of Jake. I know he's going to have, he's gained a lot of momentum, and it's well deserved just because of the type of player he is from an intangible standpoint, but also I think the combine is going to showcase his metrics that I think are going underappreciated, just how physically athletic he is. So I'm excited to see him perform really, really well. I wouldn't be surprised if his name skyrockets after this performance. Joe Roy, I think, will test really, really well. Then obviously, I think Dante will represent. I know Dante's been a little bit injured and coming back for some injuries in that regard. So I don't know exactly what Dante will be doing, but I'm optimistic that he'll represent. And then I think, obviously, I think Jeff Caldwell will, and I've told every scout this, will be amongst the top performers of the combine. So I'm excited. Also, we're going to have our pro day on campus. I know the Big 12s have been doing it in Dallas the last 2 years. We're really excited to have it back on campus. I think it's a piece of comfort for our athletes to kind of be in their home territory. They know the facility, they know the indoor, they know the home crowd. So we'll allow it to kind of the structuring to be more athlete friendly. So that'll be another thing to look forward to. But it's an exciting time, and I think it's a testament to how athletic a lot of our players were. But we'll see the results. We'll see the objective measurables, and I'm optimistic. I'm really encouraged.
I like it.
Were you surprised to see Cyrus Allen and Gavin left out of not only the combine itself, but also even like the Bengals pro day workout?
Yeah, I think the world of both those guys, and I think ultimately both will be picked up. How high, I'm not sure. That's above my pay grade, but I do know that from an intangible standpoint, and then also like it's one thing to comment. And sometimes I get frustrated with scouts and everyone wants to comment on like Gavin's personality and his leadership skills. And then also Cyrus's growth throughout the season and what he like these are really, really good football players on top of being great people. And I think whoever lands them, they're going to be in for a really, really, really good treat because they're great players. But yeah, I think the world of those two, both intangible wise, who they are as people, but also athletically and from a production standpoint, like I think Gavin will play a long time in the NFL. I really, really do. I think Cyrus will flash and show how athletic he is and how he's a creator in space. I think the world of those two.
Yeah, I was just really impressed with what Cyrus was able to do down at what was it, the Shrine Bowl, I think.
Yeah. Had a great performance. Gavin did really well too. I think you just keep doubting on both those two, especially Gavin. Like, keep doubting on Gavin, man. He's the guy that's done everything right. 3-time captain. Obviously, his metrics speak for himself. But like Gavin went from when we first got there from about 288. He played all year at 315. All of his numbers, his strength numbers went through the roof. Over a 400-pound bencher, over a 500-pound squatter. Well over almost 550-pound squatter. His metrics, he'll run really, really well. He can bend. He's lean. He'll impress a lot of people. I think a lot of people are underestimating how athletic he really is and how well he moves. I think he'll have a great showing.
So, getting into this offseason, obviously workouts and full tow. 2 weeks ago, I believe it was phase 2 was initiated. Can you peel the curtain back and kind of fill us in on phase 1, phase 2 as much as you can? We don't want the secret to the sauce, but maybe just a quick glimpse.
Yeah, before we started the podcast, we're just talking about this is a different group. It's a different team. And so if you are going to try to just do the same program, run it back, I don't think you would even get the same results that you would get this past year, which obviously isn't our goals. And we have higher goals than that. But on top of it, it's a new dynamic. And so we have to address a couple of things. Number one is we have to address why we fell short of our goals last year. So obviously every team is organic, and why we fell short in November, how we can improve it moving forward. And so those are all addressed, and those are all, discussed. And then the program in itself has to have components that address why we fell short and how we can improve and learn and move going forward. And then the second component is it's a new group of players. And especially nowadays, like, you have to be incredibly dynamic, and like every single program is going through it. And we have 38 new players. Like, shoot, man, Ohio State has 52 new players. So like every team now is going through this, and it's the teams that can create a system that really does, I think, a couple things well. And for us, the big three are going to be individual development. So wherever we're at from a physical standpoint, it is a yearly race. It used to be a 4 to 5 year model. It is a yearly race of development. And whatever program can become aligned more effectively and efficiently and get the both physical development and then the skill development in the fastest amount of time possible has success, has a competitive advantage. And so, like, while coaches were like, it's not the same as it was 10 years ago or 5 years ago, this happened, or, back in my day, well, it's no longer that thinking. And I think our staff has done a great job of being really, really adaptive and humble in that approach. It's like every year's a year race. You have 1 year contract. And that's the way you have to look at it. And I am trying to get you as good as you can, be as close to your dream potential in 1 year as possible. And the minute January 2nd hit and the portal open, the clock starts. And so it's just the way it works, man. And so you have to embrace that and lean into that and push in a different way with a different type of aggression, obviously safely, but it has to be a very, very comprehensive program. So number one, individual development. 2 is crew, which we break our team into small units. We call them crews, crew and positional ownership. And so you're trying to create small unit cohesion and build that connection and build that that ownership of that development and that kind of standard of performance. So you're trying to create a standard led by crew leaders, position leaders, and position coaches, and drive that ownership. And then the last piece is going to be leadership empowerment. And that would be the most encouraging thing. Like, we talked about unconditional leadership, and I don't want to knock on our leaders last year, but what I will say is it's always easy to lead in times of convenience. And when it gets really, really hard, people are going to follow regardless. And if your leadership questions the path forward and worries about their own individual circumstances, then you're going to have a team that also questions it. And I think that's why we fell short. And it's always fun to ask our players. It's always fun to ask them, like, do you want, like, if you're nominated as a crew captain, which we do in our first meeting, we elect 6 captains, and they were the crew captains, and they're great representatives. And then the question that I really ask, and I publicly ask it, and then I ask it behind closed doors, like, it's almost like a creed. It's almost like a vow. It's like, are you an unquestionable, unconditional leader? Like, are you willing to be a leader regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the time of the season, regardless of the outcome? Like, are you really willing to do this? And the leaders, the 6 captains are Terrence Heil, Evan Tangsadal, Jonathan Thompson, Antoine Peak, Drew Logan, and Joe Cotton. And unquestionable, yes. And then also just by the fact that everything they went through last November and December was some really hard times. And in college football, it's kind of uncomparable to what it's been in the past. Like, man, when December hits, it is open season, man. It is open season, and you reveals character, both good and bad, and it reveals coaches' strength and commitment, player strength and commitment. And it's a really challenging time, and it's going to be like that until legislation changes in college athletic. But, like, I mean, it's just a wild time, and it's wild for everybody. But it's just disheartening in some regards. But it's also really encouraging because you have guys that step up, and you have guys that really care about being a Bearcat. And regardless of what the outside noise is, their commitment to this program is astonishing. And their leadership has shown that in January and February. And then at the end of January, so right as we entered phase 2, they had elected their crew, and then they named 2 members of their crew to be co-captains. And we started everybody in a white shirt. And basically the white shirt mentality was it's all new. It's a new season. It's a new group. It's a brand new mentality. We gave the 6 guys their black shirt, which means you are the embodiment of our culture. You've earned the CPAW. You are the standard. Do you understand that responsibility? And they all did, and they all took it on. And so they were the standard for 3 weeks. And then from there, they named their co-captains, awarded them a black shirt. It was ceremonial. It was really, really cool. It means a lot to these guys. So now we had 18 co-captains and captains moving into phase 2. Phase 2 is called Juggernaut. Oh, excuse me. Phase 2 is called Iron Will Winter. Okay. And it's really hard. And we lean into it. We say it has to be hard. If it's not hard, number one, it's not going to build belief in our training, build belief in our program. We say that we're the hardest working team in the country. If it's not hard, then A, we are full of, and if we are full of shit, then we're hypocrites. And then we can't trust our training when it matters most. And so that was a huge point of emphasis, that it has to be hard and we have to share in our suffering. 2, is it's going to empower our leaders, and our leaders are going to be the ones that earn the CPAW and then drive that standard forward. And as they name their additional black shirt members, we can do 2 a week, no more than 2 a week per crew. And it means a lot to these guys, man. Like we've had guys like get in fist fights about not getting it. Like it matters that much more. And then you have to defend why or why not. And it's in front of the whole program, and it means a lot. And so when you get that black shirt, then now you are in charge and responsible for earning that black shirt and upholding that standard. And it's been a week by week thing, and it's mean a lot. So the hard work builds the standard of the CPAW, and then on top of it empowers the leaders who've gotten that shirt to drive the standard forward. And it's been a really, really fun, challenging, humble, and hungry winter. And I've really enjoyed working with this group.
That is awesome.
Has there been anything that you've adjusted or adapted in kind of like your sports science, strength training mindset for like this ever-changing kind of roster / NIL scenario that college football puts you in?
Yes, that's a great question. One is you have to evaluate spring ball. So like, what is the purpose of spring? Like, you don't have 2 windows anymore. You don't have 2 portal windows. You have 1. So pretty much our roster right now, excluding a couple freshmen, is set. So knowing that, how do we approach spring ball? And then what is really important and what are our goals of spring ball? And we're still working through that process, and our coaches are super humble, and we're all working together to create a schedule and a progression to make sure that we're as healthy as possible, but also the practices are as demanding when they need to be really demanding. And so being really systematic with that, and then reverse engineering that. And so what we do is we chart everything. And so we have a progression. So if I know what the first week of what spring ball is going to be, after all these discussions and meetings, these are what practice is going to be. These are what the workload is going to be. Well, then I got to reverse engineer it to make sure that we are preparing them for the demands of what you're going to be meeting. And that's an individual basis, a positional basis. That's an overall team. And so we could really work to reverse engineer it. So every single week, I have an aim point. I'm trying to get them to a certain yardage. I'm trying to get them to a certain acceleration, deceleration. I'm trying to get them to an overall percentage of their max speed. And then I'm trying to get them to a type of speed yardage. So I'm trying to get them to a certain amount of 90% yards, 80% yards. And we're all working backwards from there. And so our sports science team's been incredible. Our strength staff's been incredible. And the blessing, and we all talked about it, but this is our 4th year together. And we've had the amount of continuity we've had is unheard of. Like the athletic training staff's all in place. The strength staff's all in place. Our sports science staff now has really had the ground underneath them and formulate legs and gotten support they needed. Dr. Jason Stone does an incredible job. Our sports psychology staff all intact, and our nutrition staff all intact. And so we're a unit, man, that's now all intact, have the continuity, knows and trusts each other. And we're just aligned. And so for us to be able to do, and really, I think we're firing all cylinders. And I think this has been the most productive, most effective winter yet in regards to obviously the cultural components, which we'll get into more depth, but like from a physiological standpoint, from where our players are at, and this was a much more raw group, really high upside, but kind of like a raw training age, like less developed. And so the progression that they're doing, it's a testament to those 5 areas of performance working together, man. I'm really encouraged. Our next week, we'll do our last evaluations this upcoming week going into spring. And I think the before and afters will be silly, man. I'm really excited to see where we're at.
This offseason, we saw some coaching staff changes, big changes, actually, we have 2 new co-offensive coordinators. You got a new defensive coordinator in. What changes have you seen with the new responsibilities now for the 2 new co-offensive coordinators and their promotions? And then what's working with Coach Nate Woody been like so far?
Really, really enjoyable in both regards. So the challenge, we call it the developmental alignment. Like that year-long race, we call it like the Bearcat. Like I'm using a lot of phrases here, but like we try to brand everything, like because then it becomes ours. And so a lot of what the winner was how aligned can we be? And clearly, because of our results in November, like we are close, but we're falling apart. We're missing something. And what are we missing? And is it physical? Is it cultural? Is it alignment? Like what is the issue is it the opponents? Like there's so many variables, right? It's a little bit of everything. But the one thing that I would say is we needed to create a system in which strength and conditioning and performance wasn't here and football here. And how aligned can we be? And working with coordinators that understand what we need and then can push it and drive it and make it more than just strength is siloed off. I think that's when you get a lot, like that's when your rate of development just accelerates. And so, for example, to talk about this, right? So we talk about the Bearcat process, which means we have a 1-year race in which we're trying to develop our players as quickly as possible. And each week we're setting up objectives. So each week we're taking our culture and we're trying to make it as objective as possible. Like my pet peeve is subjective bull crap measurables. Like I hate, like he goes hard. Like what does that mean? He goes hard. He has a lot of effort. Like tell me what that means. Like don't just say he goes hard or he plays with effort. Like tell me what that means. Like how do you measure effort? How do you measure effort? Don't tell me he goes hard and then I see him not going hard. Like what does that mean? Don't coach talk me. Like give me damn objective feedback. And we say we're a process-oriented team. And everyone just says that because that's what Nick Saban says. Like, no, like what does that mean? Like, does everyone know what being process-oriented means? And I'm getting a little fired up because it's easy to just catchphrase something. Like, we're a process-oriented program. Well, what does that mean? Oh, we play hard. What does that mean? Like, tell me what that means. And so I think, and we all collectively think, that being vague and being generalistic is ruining our ability to really improve throughout the course of the season. And so collectively, what we've done is we've worked really, really closely with the football staff. And if we say we're going to be process-oriented, what that means is you have to have weekly objectives. And this is going to be no surprise to Royer, but like football, you come up on Sunday, right? Okay, let's say in a game week, I come up on Tuesday in my team meeting and I say, these are our keys of victory. These are our key performance metrics that we must do to win the game. We must, obviously there's some non-negotiables, right? Like we got to be good in the red zone. We got to take care of the ball. We got to do this. We got to win the turnover battle. We got to win on special teams. We got to, be really efficient on third down. Like these are some non-negotiables that you always do. But then there's certain things that you must do to beat this opponent, right? And like you present these metrics, you present these objectives that if we do this, regardless of the outcome, we're not focusing on the outcome, we're focusing on doing these really, really well. And if we do these really, really well, if we execute on these objectives, we will trust that the outcome of the game will be what we want it to be. And if we don't and we win, then it doesn't matter because we still lost these objectives and we still need to improve. And that was the beauty behind the process. The process was you're chasing a really high standard. And the outcome in itself isn't as important as what you're trying to chase from a week-to-week basis. You're chasing perfection. You're chasing how to win the game. You're not chasing the actual outcome of the game, right? That makes sense? You're following me here. I'm going on a coaching tangent.
I like it.
I can hear your blood pressure rising. This is
I'm fired up. So strength and conditioning is the same thing. We got to be the hardest working team in America. We have to, our culture's effort, attitude, toughness. We have to play with effort, attitude, toughness. Well, are we? Are we? And so what we've done is working with the coaching staff. We've taken the template that we're going to have in season, right? The objectives, the weekly objectives, the plan to win, the whatever coaching phrase, the keys to victory, whatever you want to paraphrase it as. We call it the weekly objective. And we've standardized effort. So starting in phase 2, we've standardized effort. If we have effort as a program, first off, this is how we define effort, which we've talked about. We've reviewed this. So this is how we define effort. This is effort in action. And now these are our objectives. These 4 things that we must do well. We must make our body weight as a team above 90%. We must have under this amount of loves. Must have this under MAs or missed assignments. And we must have this academic score. So we have, boom, these are our objectives. Now, this is the process. We must do these things well as a crew, as a position group, and as an individual. And if we can do these things, we will win the week, and then we will have the outcome that we want. So strength and conditioning is now working with the coordinators and the head coach to be as literally as transferable as possible. So we want us to all be on the same page and all speak the same language and all have the same type of focus and all have the same type of goals. If we're going to say that we need to be the most developmentally oriented team, then it can't just be strength and conditioning training and then see you later. Like, our coaching staff has done an incredible job working with our players because it's a yearly race. And if you think that you're going to just get out of your office in freaking June and July and like drink a cup of coffee and like our players are going to be ready. No, they're learning a new scheme. This isn't how it was in 1997. This wasn't how it was in 2007. This wasn't how it was in 2017. This is how it was in 2023. Like, it's all changing. And so your ability to work with coordinators and a head coach that are humble enough to help identify what your needs are and then create a system that is completely transferable, I think that takes incredible humility. And I think our coordinators have been willing to do that, have been all in. The amount of time and the amount of investment they've shown has been incredible, man. And I have a saying, I love this saying, like, do you know how you spell love? And everyone's like, L-O-V-E. It's like, no, you spell it T-I-M-E. Like, you have to commit and invest time in these players. And if you do, you develop trust, but also you're going to develop development. And I think that's what we've been really pushing. And I think we've had a really, really good success. And it's because of the coordinators' leadership and their care. They really care. And that's been really encouraging to see.
So you mentioned being more transferable and trying to identify, like, what we're doing to be more transferable this year to, limit the strugglings of November. Could you give us any little more details on like what you're doing that's more transferable in this off season?
Yeah, I mean, everything that we've spoken about in regards to creating a literal win the week structure. And I think the best teams.
So you didn't do that last year with this much detail on the weekly basis? Because I remember you were talking about how you did, like, you transferred football and strength like really well with, your on the field scoring and stuff like that with the different groups.
Yeah.
And like you found a way to like transfer strength like into actual on-field workouts that
with the PLPs and the grading. Yep.
Yeah. But this is that to the next level of like.
Correct.
Okay.
Like, I think what we're trying to do this winter is literally create a way of thinking and a process that literally starts in January and will lead us all the way through December. And that's a win the week mentality in which you help create a system that you can be process oriented, that you can literally set objectives and you use a template that you are trying to accomplish a set objective list, and then you create positional goals and individual goals that you must do in this week in order to win games. And I think the best teams are hyper self-aware, and the best teams are always developing and growing. And I think the worst case scenario is when you have success, you can often you're blinded to why you've had success. And I think creating a system in which you create an objective plan of these are the measures in which we are going to win the game. And yes, maybe we've done that in the past, but how transparent are they? Does everyone in the program know exactly what the offense needs to do, what the defense needs to do, and what the special teams needs to do? Are we all on the same page? Are we all working together to hold each other accountable and then emphasize the same things? And then are we also hypersensitive enough, aware to understand what each different week's dynamics are? And I think those are ever changing, and we're doing that each week. Like our goals last week aren't the same as this week. Like there's some of the same variables, but there are also some different changes as we progressed in the off season. And so I think constantly challenging your team and being incredibly like just transparent. Like, to be honest, we lost last week as a program. We lost. Like we did not reach our weekly objectives. We made them really hard objectives. We fell short. We fell short on a Tuesday. Last Tuesday, we fell short. One of our goals was having no accountability issues. We had 2. So what a great learning lesson. Like, okay, we lost today. We had a shitty Tuesday practice. Now, leaders, are we going to allow this to trickle down and have a bad Wednesday and Thursday and ultimately have the bad outcome of the week? Or are we going to nip this in the bud? Or are we going to freaking reevaluate, self-assess, and find ways to freaking win the rest of the week? And we did. It was an incredible testament to leadership, and we responded the right way. And I think what you're constantly doing is you're teaching players through very transparent moments of this is where we're at, this is where we fell short, and this is how we improve it. And you have that dialogue because that's what it's going to be in the season. There's going to be ups and downs. And if you just give very generalized explanations for why you won or why you lost, you are cheapening and stunting the growth. Like if you won because you made plays, and if you lost because you failed to execute, that's not the outcome you want. You want constant objective feedback for why you won and why you lost. And I think we're trying to instill that right now so that the growth edge of our team is that much higher and higher when we need it most in October and November.
Yeah, and it makes sense because if you think about, like you mentioned, like the roster turnover year in, year out. So it's like it doesn't really become like as much of a developmental culture and a developmental program. It's like the culture doesn't change year in, year out, but you're reteaching it, and you have to teach it in an efficient way. So you have to trim the fat off of everything because you don't have 3 years to teach a freshman how to be an NFL caliber player or a leader of men and how to be how to be a great teammate. He doesn't have 3 years of experience. It's like, one, he's probably already a junior, and you're bringing him in and you're telling him like, hey, this is how we do things, and you're going to do them this way, and you're going to do them this way because of these objectives, and these objectives are clear and they're graded constantly, because if we don't, every day that we don't do it, it's under a microscope comparatively to what it used to be like when I played. Because like a guy like me, there's guys on my team that played for 6 years, and there was a lot of guys that didn't even start and contribute to winning until their 5th and 6th season. And so you don't have that now. And like, that's why I like the way you're able to break it down and give the reasons as for why like transparency is so critical, because you only have such a short, the window is such smaller now.
And like, to your point, Royer, like, I think the interesting thing is like year one in 2023, we would do a team workout, and the only thing we're worried about was effort. Like, just go really hard and basically like make sure they have a good workout, aka like lay them out. And like, mind you, that was where we're at as a team. Like, we're buying building, we're buying trust, we're trying to expose players, all that stuff. So we're just laying everybody out, like just laying dudes out. And then like the next 2 years, it's like, just go hard, like effort. And it's just so funny to your point, like how much our programs had to evolve because like you are developing players, absolutely. But like you're developing players and like the emphasis is now on execution. Like our edge has to be our level of execution. It has to be our discipline, the details. And like if you watch our like agility runs, like it's combative, like we have multiple T runs throughout the week, but on Monday it's going to be more of an agility competition. On Wednesdays it's going to be more of like a combative tug of war conflict, and then on Thursdays it's going to be more performance oriented speed work. And so like you have a different emphasis each of the days, but like the level of execution and how hard it's being coached to like literally like to the touching of the bag, to the touching of the cone, to the finish +2, like the level of execution is so scrutinized and it's called out, and it's almost like from the dynamic warm-up on, like the coaches are coaching it as hard as they can because everyone understands now like you don't have the luxury of guys like taking their time to develop and like figuring it out and like it's okay, we're like just go hard, like no, like we have to have like a surgeon like precision in how we do everything, because the level of execution that you need to demand from players in such a short amount of time is so emphasized. And like, if you don't train with like that level of precision of like, this is the level of execution that we expect in the way, and we expect you to be perfect. And if it's not, it's literally displayed. And then literally your results can impact the outcome of our team objective. Like we can lose the week because you loafed. We show it. We show every single crew their loaf total. We show every single crew their MA total. We show the whole team. This is the breakdown. These are the percentages. These individuals lost the week. Like we're trying to make it as completely like, oh shit. Like we want it to be so transparent, and there we want ownership and we want accountability in that. And we are doing that to that level of precision because like you need execution. You need 4 years worth of learning rep to execute in a year now. And like, if you don't train with that level of attention to detail and coach with that level of attention to detail and emphasize that constantly, then you're going to fall short in the spring and you're best going to fall short in the fall. And like, that's the level that's just evolved so much. And I think this team does such a good job with trying and straining to get there. And it's been an interesting thing just to see the evolution of the workouts, and almost subconsciously, like it's just have to become that, because that's the level of coaching detail that we need, and we need to evolve and constantly grow because that's the way the game is going.
So you mentioned each one of these teams having the chosen leader, and then they elected leaders under them as well. Who were some of those that were picked, and any new names that kind of have stepped up and really tried to take on a leadership role with this team?
Yeah, it was honestly, so it was different this year because we've had so many new players, and so we gave them like we gave the 6 crew captains that were all established leaders 3 weeks, and then we re-met on a Friday. Okay, and so we re-met on a Friday. It was the 6 of us after 3 weeks of training, and we're literally sitting on a big whiteboard, and we got a desk out and papers, and we have the roster, and we said, okay, on your crew, give me 2 names that you are going to pick as your elected co-captains. And that comes with a status, but it also comes with a lot of responsibilities. And if things go wrong, you as a crew captain get punished, and you as a crew captain have to burden more responsibilities. So it's a give and take, right? Mm. And it was one of the coolest meetings that I've been a part of in my career because of how hypersensitive and emotionally intelligent our leaders are. So they're asking each other. And there's a lot of leaders that they know that maybe if I took this guy, it would make my life easier. But I need to take this guy because I need to put him in a leadership role. And the dialogue of like the D line needs this guy to step up, and I need to help him become a leader. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I'm going to put him in a leadership responsibility. It was a fascinating like social experiment. It was so cool. It was so mature. And the guys were talking and discussing, and the cool thing was, it was a really hard decision because there were so many guys that had stepped up in the course of 3 weeks, and everyone had their different things that they provided. Some were great communicators, some were really organized, some were great energy guys, some were great competitors. So everyone had a different role, but it was just cool to see how it worked out. And so on crew one, and I don't want to mess this up off the top of my head and name 18 names, but one of the really cool things, so Tarantino had the first pick, and he picks Mate Whedon, which is a great pick, great leader, hard worker, encourager, like a firm presence. Then he picks Cam Rutherford, one of the emerging D-line leaders that we need to step up. And it was a great pick, like emotional pick for him. Cam had tears in his eyes when he got stepped up, and literally we hand him the black shirt. He literally crying. It was an incredible moment. Evan Tang picks Grant Edgington, and he picks George Leipold, who's a fantastic leader, walk on, just a dude that works his butt off, everyone loves. Jonathan Thompson picks Mook Sims and Max Fletcher, a punter. The Fletch dude wanted that role, stepped into that role, was a little overwhelmed at certain times, has grown tremendously. Antoine Peak picks. Oh gosh, now I'm starting to get a little hazy here. Wait, I got my phone. I got a photo. I just want to make sure I don't want to do any of these guys a disservice.
No.
Antoine Peak picks Nolan Latalupe, which was a great freaking pick, and he picks JC French, new quarterback. Crew 5, great pick. He picks back-to-back. So Drew Logan picks back-to-back quarterbacks. He picks Samaj Jones and Liam O'Brien. So all 3 quarterbacks that will be competing, all elected co-captains. That's a huge win for us. And seeing them have to step up in leadership roles has been tremendous. And then Joe Cotton picks 2 tight ends like a friggin' meathead. He picks Devin Zahersky and Gavin Grover. And so it was just really, really cool to see them. And then each week they picked 2 more guys, or 1 to 2 more guys to get their black shirt when they seem fit. And seeing those guys just step up, like Cuevo Sabor, huge winner. Gio Katosis, huge winner. A lot of newcomers, Cole Tabb, Malachi Henry, massive winners. So it's just been really, really cool to see a lot of guys just continue to step up, and it's been really encouraging.
This is the first off season that you've had to really kind of get into the nuts and bolts of the new indoor facility. So what have you been able to do that has maybe, I don't know, what have you been able to take advantage of, I guess, this off season that you weren't able to do in season? Some different things that you're doing now that you've kind of gotten in there and really gotten to spread your wings.
Oh my gosh, literally. And programming, and you take it for granted, right, Aaron? Like, you don't even think, like, just the last 3 years we've done it a certain way, and you've just kind of gotten used to why you've done it that way. Yeah. And then this year, namely like in December, when I'm kind of planning for the program and our staff's planning for the program, you realize how many accommodations had to be made because of the weather, and because you could only run at a certain time, and you could only run as a team, because the thought of like getting a group of guys to run at 6:30 in the morning when it's 7 degrees outside seems a little cruel and unusual. And so, like, I mean, mind you, we did, but it was, you know what I mean? Like, so like realizing how many accommodations we had to make completely reshifted our focus. And so we changed the running dynamic a ton. So we added a running day. The way we run on Thursdays completely shifted. And then the way we were able to do plyometrics and finishers completely changed. And so the whole winter evolved dramatically. And like, I've thought about this. This has been a cruel, cruel winter, man. Like, yeah, I don't know what we would have done those 2 weeks where there was just snow cover and it was so cold. Like, we're probably having to go to the Bengals twice a week. And so, like, the whole winter, this winter, and I don't want to say it would have been ruined, but the way for an entire block for basically 3 weeks, we would have had to change our plan to accommodate for the weather. And every time you bust down to the Bengals, you lose 40 to 50 minutes of your day busing. And so now your time of recovery's changed, your time of travel, the effectiveness of the workout changes. The amount of time our coaches have been able to spend with the players getting extra work in and just doing walkthroughs and just scheme-oriented stuff. Just the mental work alone has completely shifted. And so from an effectiveness and an efficiency, you don't even realize it until you're in it and you're going, holy cow, this winter has been so efficient. And you just like, I don't know what we would have done. We would have made it work and not using what we didn't have as an excuse. But man, it's been completely transformative.
Defensively, does it feel like there's a different energy, kind of knowing the way that Nate Woody wants to play, the aggression that he wants to play with? Have you noticed any of that, or is it too early? And until they get into spring and really start getting out there and seeing what it looks like.
Yeah, twofold on that one, Chad. That's a great question. I think from a alignment between offensive and defensive philosophies, it's a perfect alignment. Like, I think understanding what Coach Shat wants to do and then having a defensive coordinator that supplements him in his offensive game plan is a perfect mix. And so I think there's just an innate comfort in that. And then also just an alignment of them knowing exactly what the other one wants to do from a philosophy standpoint. So yes, I think just from an overall alignment amongst offensive, defensive, and special team staffs, it's the best it's been since I've been here. And it's really encouraging. And then as far as the players, like it's an interesting thing because like we recruited for a certain scheme and now the scheme is changed. And so luckily we've had pretty athletic players, and obviously, you know how I feel about Zach Grant and his staff. They do an incredible job, but we've been able to recruit dynamic enough players, but we've had to shift a lot of the emphasis. And so like Marquez Parker, he was 291 pounds, 294 pounds at the start of the winter. He's 279 right now, and he's going to play edge. Like his whole body's changed. Like what we need him to be completely is different. And so the players are athletic enough to kind of morph into what we need them to be. And I think the spring will be really telling to see what pieces we need to change, move, and then mold from a physical training standpoint in the summer. But Coach Woody does a really good job. I've met with him multiple times as far as where we need each player to be. And it's been a really fun challenge to kind of morph these guys into what he thinks they need to be. And then it'll be really telling to see how spring unfolds and how we play musical chairs. And then once we get them set, what more needs to be done in the summer.
One more, Brent. One more. What do you think missed with the old philosophy? And not to get too deep in the weeds on it, but it was a scheme that worked at Iowa State for as long as it did. What do you think why didn't the wires connect? Because it felt like Tyson Veit was a guy that should have fit in well here. Ohio guy, great ties. I love Tyson. I know the staff love Tyson as well.
Love him. Yep.
But why didn't the wires connect, in your opinion?
That's a great question. And I don't know if I'm qualified enough to answer that. I think no person worked harder to find success. And I think we did a great job of trying to develop players to fit that scheme. And I don't know if it was just being out of sync with what the offense wanted, with what the defense provided, with an alignment between the two staffs, with an alignment amongst the team. I don't really know. I know everyone worked as hard as they could to make it work, and I just don't think it did. But I think it's no judgment amongst the capabilities or the competencies of either offensive or defensive coaches. I just don't think it meshed, and I don't really know why either. And it was really disheartening to see that it didn't work the way the work that was put in should have resulted in. And it was disheartening. And I wish I knew that answer, because if I did, I think everyone would have found ways to change it, because everyone worked so hard to find the success that we just couldn't really get. it was really, really discouraging and disheartening. But
yeah,
what are your thoughts on that? That's a great question.
I just don't know personnel wise if they ever got it right in terms of the way that Iowa State played it with bigger, more physical defensive backs that allowed them to be a little less passive, a little less, we've got to drop 8. We've got to, try to keep these teams from beating us down the field. And look, that's a philosophy that took Iowa State a long time to get right, to find exactly the type of DBs, the size, the physicality, whatever they were looking for. Because if you look, like, they were never a big pass rush team. They were never a big sack team, but they were able to play the zone and play it with a little bit more understanding, I guess is the best way to put it. Instead of like, we're completely rebuilding our secondary, we've got to take as many good pieces as we can get and just hope that it clicks. It wasn't a decade of, plug and play. I mean, hell, when you looked at Iowa State this year, they lost almost their entire secondary to injury. And 2 weeks later, it looked like they had a veteran secondary back there because they had the system in place. And it just never felt like, for whatever reason, that back end clicked the way that you need it to click for this defense, for that defense to work. If that makes sense.
I think that's a great take.
Well, all signs point to Woody really turning things around there. So I'm excited to hear that.
I think with Woody too, Brent, you're going to see more upfield. You're going to see more 4 and 5 guys in the pass rush. It's very difficult unless you have the exact right guys. Ryan can attest to this. Nico can attest to this. If you don't have the exact right guys in that backfield, if you're playing without a pass rush, you're cooked.
Yeah.
You're cooked. I mean, you just can't do it. Like, they can't hold up for 4 or 5 seconds. And that's kind of what they were asked to do. I almost thought at times it wasn't fair to the defensive backs. Not that it was their fault, not that it was Tyson's fault, but just the personnel wasn't on par with the way Iowa State did it. So if you're going to emulate them, great idea. They were the best defense in the conference for a decade. But man, you've got to have that track record, that history of, these are what all of our defensive backs look like. Not here's 3 of them, and then we got 7 of them that we're trying to mix and match. I just think for whatever reason it didn't, it didn't click. But hey, they tried it and they went with the smart thing, I thought, which was go get a guy that's a disciple of the best defense in the conference for the past decade. But now go back to what you know. Go back to what you're familiar with. Go back to a guy that exactly what you're going to get, and his style of defense can match the aggression, the mentality, whatever that you're trying to have on offense.
Coach, you have so Dave, who does the BCJ pod on Wednesday/Thursdays on here, he can over and over again just applauds and really gives you kudos to the ability to stay somewhat injury free or as close to injury free as possible. It seems like kind of luck has been on the side, and I'm sure a lot of hard work and different things go into making sure that happens. When you get these new transfer portal players that come in and they might have a bit of a injury history or that they probably be brought into your regimen, what is something that you kind of focus on wholeheartedly to go out there and be completely injury free?
Well, thank you, Brad. Appreciate that and the support. We've had great success. If you look at our number of players that were healthy, number of players that were on the injury list, and the number of consecutive starters that played, and O-line played every single game. Obviously, the quarterback played every single game. So we had a ton of success in the last 3 years, but specifically last year to be really, really healthy. And I think that is a testament to our alignment of a performance staff. And it also helps that we have the best athletic trainer in the country, and Aaron Hemler, and incredible sports scientist, and Dr. Jason Stone, that make me much more of a capable strength coach. And so I don't take that for granted. One thing I think is a really telling thing that it goes underappreciated is, in order to prepare for a really, really demanding season and spring ball, you have to train in a really, really demanding way. Like, you have to expose them to the demands. And like, I think strength coaches get so concerned about not having injuries in training that like it makes me kind of scratch my head. Like if I'm trying to take Hamburger Hill, like there's going to be some casualties. Like, I'm trying to get you ready for war, dog. Like, and if there are some, I'm not trying to have anyone get hurt, but like, I'd rather expose you progressively to really demanding things to prepare you for those demands, and then monitor your fatigue levels once you're there and try to prevent you from getting hurt in certain aspects, and then have a great plan of attack in regards to a structure in which you have a great recovery protocol, and then also a great treatment plan with really, really capable members of our performance staff. Then I would err on the side of being conservative and prevent injury in training, and then not prepare you properly for the demands. And I think that's one of the things that we really do a good job of, is we're really holistic in our plan in regards to monitoring the athletes where they're at, evaluating them, progressing them in workload, evaluating them, seeing how they respond. Hopefully they're improving their performance metrics, but also creating performance routines and recovery routines to make sure that they're trained in a way that's going to really stress their system psychologically and physically, to prepare them for the demands they're going to be experiencing in the season. And then they have a routine that's strong enough to withstand those stresses, and a recovery routine and a treatment plan that when they do inevitably get hurt, we can get them back, and so they miss no games or miss practices. And I think that's what we do really, really well, is we err on the side of being really, really aggressive.
I have one more question. What are you doing next Monday night?
Soccer practice with the girls. I'm coaching right now. So no, I am coaching right now. Well, I'm supervising. I'm not really coaching.
Okay.
It's the most intense 2-year-old and 4-year-old soccer practice you've ever seen. But what do you got going on?
I know we want to get into some of the new guys individually, but we've already kept you an hour. So I don't want to monopolize your time tonight, but I didn't know, maybe next week or 2 weeks from now, you could come back on and talk about some of the guys individually.
I could come back on next week if you think the audience would want me back for 2 weeks in a row. I'm sure I can.
Hell yeah,
dude!
You kidding me, man?
This was 10,000 feet, right? This was the plan for this team. They want to hear you way more than they want to hear us jackasses talk.
I've tried to tell you, the link works anytime you want to pop in. Like, the link is always open.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm humble, man. Yeah, I'd be honored to come back next week. If you guys want to hear me ramble on for another hour, I would be
honored.
If the audience and the fan base would be humble enough to listen to me talk, then yes, I'd be honored.
Look, Brent and Ryan touched tips on the podcast.
We did.
Like, having you back and them not interacting as much as possible is a blessing for everyone.
Oh my God. You don't
need that.
Yeah. I'd be honored to come back next Monday. Okay. I appreciate you guys. Yes, absolutely.
We'll just do part 2, and that way we can get right into it, hit on the new guys and some of the old guys, and then get you out of here.
Okay. Well, sorry for talking and just completely pirating this freaking conversation, but I appreciate it.
No.
That's why you're here.
That's literally why we have you on. we need to hear it. It gets me fired up, and it makes me want to attack my own personal day a little bit better. It's just.
Well, I'm humble, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be honored to come back next Monday. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Let's go. Nico, lock it in.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
Oh man, this feels so right. It's been a while, and honestly, guys, I know I know it's been trying times as Bearcat fans, and hopefully basketball's taking us upwards. And I'm with you, Roy. I'm optimistic as well. But the fact that you guys want to have me back on, the fact that you guys are as unconditionally supportive, man, always means a lot to me. So thank you guys. I really, this group means a lot to me. So thank you for having me on. And yes, I'll be humbled next week as well. So thank you guys.
Amazing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Nika.
Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you. I'll see you a week from today, man. I appreciate you guys.
Epic
Let's
beast.
go. Let's go.
All right.
Bearcats, baby.
Brother.
Love you guys.
Bearcats.
I'll talk to you.
Love you, man.
See you guys.
See you, Nika.
See you, Coach.
Man, wow. Back to back. A double dip.
I just figured I'd throw it out there. Like, we didn't get to any of the players, and we still have like a lot. Like, there's 20 questions in the basketball mailbag.
Well, yeah.
And we haven't talked about the biggest win
ever
in a long time in UC basketball history.
Yeah. No, it makes complete sense. I was going to dive in JC French, fill me in how he's looking. Miles Jones, how's he look? Exactly. So yes, it's a smart move to bring him back, because I mean, obviously he sprinkles all this fresh knowledge that we need, and it gets me exhilarated for my walks on the beach. Just hearing Nico in my ears. It is very nice. It is very nice. So. But yeah, let's go ahead and timestamp and talk about that best win in quite a long time for the team.
All right. This timestamp brought to you by Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They service over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases. Now, do we want to do this like riffing with Royer style? Like, how do we want to do this Kansas stuff?
We can, I was thinking open-ended, but then hop into the mailbag pretty quickly, because a lot of the mailbag would be the continuation of basketball talk that we are going to start.
Let's go like two riffing with Royer questions on Kansas.
Right. Yeah.
And then we'll roll into the mailbag.
I like it, Ryan. Take it away, man.
All right. Did you guys have the Bearcats being able to shoot a 48% clip?
I don't think, like, if you look at UCF and Kansas State, and you could see the offense was coming around. They're obviously not going to shoot 60% from three like they did in those games, but they were doing a better job playing more. I don't want to say inside out, because I don't necessarily think that's exactly it. There have been elements of that, but they've been doing a better job over the past 3 weeks getting paint touches and allowing, whether that's off penetration, whether that's off passing. They've been doing a better job collapsing the defense. We have not seen as much of guard stands at top of key, passes to wing passes back to guard passes to wing passes back to guard. Like, we're not seeing as much of that. We're seeing more collapsing the defense, making the defense make tough decisions on who they're going to guard, where they're going to guard. So surprising, yes, but I mean, Flory's great, but Bryson Tiller is young. Like, you've got two guys out there, and Baba and Cham. One of them was going to have an advantage with Tiller. I love that they went early and often to the well and said, we're going to play from the paint, and Kansas, we're going to make you stop us. Mm-hmm. And, one of the things about Flory, as much as and you guys know, I've loved Flory since the first time I saw him play when he was a sophomore in high school. He's more of a weak side shot blocking defender. He's not a great man up, especially like Baba was making him guard the drive, making him guard the bounce. And that's, most big men just aren't accustomed to that. And I thought it gave him a lot of problems. So while I was surprised, Ryan, obviously, there have been signs that this offense is functioning a little different than it was through the first 2/3 of the season.
Yeah.
It seems like they have a flow, and they have intention, and they have confidence, I guess you would say. And when you put all that together, that's when open shots start to fall. And you know, I keep wanting to say like the right guys are shooting the right shots, but then you have Baba and Chom hitting a couple of threes, and you know, Buck Harris hitting a three in the corner as well. I think it's kind of just an infectious thing at this point. I mean, over the 4-game winning streak, they are shooting 48% from three. And that's the one even game against Utah where they weren't great from deep. So I don't know. I think they're all hitting at the right time.
But there's something to be said for that, Brent. I mean, you say that the right guys are taking the right shots. We were lamenting how many shots Buck Harris was taking. We were, and now he's seeing less minutes, and he's become a spot defensive guy. And I think that he's coming up big in those spots as opposed to coming out and shooting more times than Day Thomas, which is what we never wanted. So I think that you're onto something there as far as the right guys taking the right shots. We've seen Celestine playing maybe his best basketball of the season at this point. He certainly had a fantastic game in beating Kansas, doing everything, making big shots, rebounding, 4 steals for Jalen Celestine. He's doing everything. So a lot of guys have had big moments in some of these wins, and these were things that we weren't seeing in the losses. You're also seeing a team that's still very reliant and still goes as Baba Miller goes, but you're seeing the surrounding pieces just simply play better. And guys like Jizzle, when the ball isn't falling, he's not forcing shots up, which is something that we saw maybe early on, but certainly last season. So guys are recognizing their place, I think, on this team a little bit better. Plus the rotation is shortened and it's become a little different. Guys are getting to flow a little bit longer instead of, well, we scheduled a timeout here and we got a substitute now.
Yeah. Which is going to be interesting if you know what happens with Abaya. I mean, obviously there's 4 games left, and I don't know what the true full update is there, but does seem like they've got the right, you know, rotation type thing locked in, and especially when you saw, you know, Jizzle didn't even come in the second half down the stretch. He had the 4 fouls, but the flow was just kind of working with Keyshawn Tillery out there and things of that sort. So yeah, it was a very fun game to watch, and like I just found myself yelling multiple times, like extremely loud, like what is happening? Like as that second half was kind of going on, I was just like, this is insane. But hey, they're playing confidently, and you know, it does seem like they're finally saying like, hey, Mustafa Cham, you have a distinct size advantage down low in this game tonight. Let's go after it over and over again. And then because Baba was the one going in the first half, and then they adjusted to, you know, taking his game away, and then that's when they went to Cham in the post over and over again in the second half, and boy, it worked out. Right.
Yeah, you mentioned Cham. Like I know we've talked all year how Bob has been the most impactful player for us, and do you guys see Cham kind of separate himself from the pack, being that number 2? And do you ever imagine a scenario where he could kind of, you know, be line to line with Baba as like most important player for us? And what's your take on Keyshawn Tillery too, stepping in there late?
on the
1.5 right there.
The initial part, I mean, the only reason I would say no, that I don't see Cham overtaking the importance of Baba, because right now Baba's spending a lot of time as a point forward.
Not overtaking, maybe just kind of like touching tips a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
They're line to line.
A little dabble. Small dabble.
Again, no, just because Baba's spending so much time with the ball in his hands. Like, he has really done a good job taking advantage of his skill set, maximizing mismatches. It's one of the things I'm more fascinated about tomorrow night because they're going to probably have to play somebody 6'6" on him. Like, they only have one big now.
Yeah.
Their next tallest guy that really gets any minutes is 6'6". So if he has a smaller guy on him, is he going to be able to, drive from the wing like he does, draw the defense, and then find the open guy? Or will they be able to play him a little more straight up because they've got a smaller, quicker guy on him? And then the flip side of that is, can Baba just use that to his advantage, rise up and shoot and get a clean look over a smaller guy? But I don't think we'll realize that looking back. I don't think we really fully grasp how great of a season Baba is having as an all-around scoring, passing, ball handling, rebounding, defense. Like, he's doing everything.
He's an All-American. If he was on a high-level winning team, all the intangibles that he has. So it's crazy to see that, because he, was going to the well, scoring in the first half, like I mentioned, and then you just see the other facets of his game in the second half. He's great at post-entry passes, and Chom has figured it out where, like, he gets the ball in the post, not messing around. He's gonna just go quick hook, or one move, backside hook, one move, turn, shot. It's just Chom is. I mean, Rafferty kept saying it. He was playing extremely confident on Saturday, which is hopefully just a recipe for it to continue down the way. Because I think he's that shot, he can get it all the time if he wants. I mean, he's 7'2", and his arm is just longer than anyone who's going to try and defend it. So, just he got great positioning every single time against Tiller. So, it's 1 foot in the paint, he just back. Amazing game on his birthday, career high, Mustafa Chom.
Best birthday of his life.
Absolutely. But as far as Tillery goes,
that is, but
what's that?
Yeah, so we don't know how many birthdays that is, but
okay, fair. As far as Tillery goes, like it is nuts, because during like the non-conference, there was like certain moments where you were just like, man, I don't know, things look a little too sped up, or he was trying to find his mix getting out there on the court at times, and then all of a sudden it just seems like everything slowed down for him, and he's been able to just go out and play. I think he's been awesome. It's fun watching him just kind of like fearless, like just like that one fast break where Peterson ended up getting a goaltend. It was just like, some players would have just probably pulled it back out and let a upperclassman, Dede, or wait until Baba comes into the front court. But no, he went the whole entire way, which is pretty awesome to see.
I've always liked Keyshawn. You guys know, I like the way he approaches the game. I like his mentality. He's scrappy. Like, he's not going to back down from anything. And as his confidence grows, you're seeing him being willing to take some threes in big spots, being willing, like not being passive, not treating the ball like a hand grenade. If the moment calls for him to rise up and shoot, and his speed in the open court is difference making. Like, he 2 or 3 times he put Kansas on their heels because he just got it and went hellbound to the rim. Stop me if you can. And it adds a different element on how teams defend you, on how teams have to, handle not being of the understanding that, okay, Cincinnati's just going to bring the ball up and run their stuff, that Cincinnati's going to get the ball out of the net. And if you're not busting your ass, that dude is going to be down at the other end laying it up, and your coach is going to be screaming at you from the sidelines for not getting back. I like him.
Me too.
Major key alert.
You want to launch us into the mailbag, Aaron?
Yeah, let's hop into that.
We're not going to do that one thing. Yeah, you guys weren't texting this weekend?
You said 2. Do we get to do?
But I just figured if I said 2, that would mean 3.
Okay.
There's been 48 touch and tips references already this
podcast. We got to go into the tip touch
and 49.
Also, I said this is now called Brent and Ryan's tip touch and topic question.
I like that. I like that a lot. You know what? We were texting a little bit when that USA match was going on, taking on Canada there, that beautiful hockey, a thrilling environment, if you will. And we started going back and forth, and you were like, I'm already 4 beers deep, man. It's not even 9 a.m. And I was like, oh gosh, dude, that is fun. And then I said, like, would you consider this one of like the more fun days where you are able to get up early? There's a scenario going on, and you crack your first one a little bit earlier than anticipated. And I said, wait a minute, let's throw this up there into the BBP and see special days that you can get started a little early, crack one open early. Favorite days to do that, or events that lead to you doing that early start. What do we have? What do we have, guys?
Thursday of the NCAA tournament, right?
Oh, baby. I love that day.
Noon games. I'm a sicko. So for me, if I day drank, which I don't because I'm not responsible enough to day drink, it would be conference tournament week where it's double the games at noon, and you're just rocking until 1 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much 3 days in a row. But for the casual, it would be Thursday of the NCAA tournament, I would think.
Amazing day. Because and the best is when it like falls on St. Patty's Day as well, and you kind of get the double dip where it's just like a whole entire day of games plus St. Patrick's Day going on at the same time. I mean, come on now.
That's this year, right?
I think so. No, I think St. Patty's Day is on a Tuesday this year.
On a Tuesday.
Oh.
Yeah, it's on a Tuesday.
Ooh, Bearcats first 4.
In my younger years, it was definitely St. Patty's Day, but now I guess I'd say vacation. That first day of vacation.
Yeah, just period. Dot. Yeah.
I mean, for football fans, it's noon kickoffs, right? Like 8 a.m.
You know what's awesome though?
Is tailgate. Reds opening day is another good one.
Oh yeah. When you're in the Pacific time zone or Central time zone, and the games start just a little bit earlier, and you are like, okay, here's a reason, let's get it rolling. I'm in San Diego. So yeah. Oh yeah. I want to say all those days are perfect. I'm trying to think of a better one, but vacation sounds about right, and I think I'm gonna lean into that full heavily. But
that first summer Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like 68 degrees in the morning.
Put the shades on.
Yeah.
Rip the tarp off.
Pool day's coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The forecast says 87 degrees and sunny. Like, all right, well, it's time to go. Time to go.
Showtime.
I'm not gonna not have a beer. I mean, come on. I'm with
all
you.
right, that timestamp brought to you by our good friends at Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They provide mostly disposable restaurant supplies, to-go containers, cups, pizza boxes, to-go bags, can liners, napkins. They've been open since 2009 and are one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. Call Nick, 513-470-2029, and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first purchase. That brings us to the Greg Hooden Mailbag. You're looking for a new
Greg Hooden.
All you got to do, hit up our guy, Cincy Greg Hooden, all the social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You got a Snapchat, Greg? You got a TikTok account. But you can find him, send him a message, or head down to Beachmont Toyota, ask for Greg. He'll get you lined up, get you driving away in a new or gently used Toyota today.
Boom.
Cincy Greg Hooden on all your social media platforms. It's you can be the second BCJ member that sees Greg and gets taken care of, he'll find you what you need. Like it doesn't just have to be on the lot at Beachmont. He'll find you what you're looking for. Can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
That's true.
Amen.
That is true. Is this our largest mailbag ever?
It's way up there. It's way up there.
But a lot of it was comments on other questions because there was a lot of good questions. So let's get going. There's only one question in the football mailbag, so we'll start there as we always do. What is your top missed opportunity to change the future of the program? Mine is the game against Ohio. Is it Ohio State? OSU around 2000. I think it's Ohio State. When we were maybe first and goal to win the game and couldn't seal the deal.
2002, right? When Ohio State won the national championship.
I think you're right.
Gino almost took him down, right?
Yeah, we played him at Paul Brown, or was it Paul Brown then?
Paul Brown. Yep, it was a Paul Brown.
Yeah, so
it was really, I mean, it was their biggest close call that year.
I was there, and boy, every single pass that they threw into the end zone, you thought it was caught. And then the Cincy crowd would cheer, and then everyone else would be like, "Oh, boo!" So, little core memory for myself. I mean, mine would be, I guess, if somehow, some way you were able to beat Alabama. I don't know, but I guess getting there was.
More
important?
What about that Texas win? Where was it Vince Young or Colt McCoy? I think it was Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy. They called it. Yeah. They put 1 second back on the clock and gave Texas a chance to kick field goal. If not, the Tony Pike Bearcats would have played Alabama in the national championship game.
Would have been fun.
I don't know that Brian Kelly. I don't know that Brian Kelly leaves the way he did.
He can't leave in that situation.
I don't think so.
And I will say this. That Florida team was better than that Alabama team. That doesn't mean Cincinnati would have won that game, but that Florida team was incredible.
One of those teams had Jesus.
Yeah, in his last collegiate
and
game.
Satan.
Yeah, wow. Well, a lot of them out there. If you really want to,
just the one, just the one.
There was just the one, but there was man. That's that team where they came out with that Florida Gators 30 for 30 or whatever, one of the documentaries, and you I was waiting for it to get more and more crazy, and they just held back so much stuff that they didn't want to show. But
I think it's hard to address how this would have possibly played out, but hypothetically, if Oklahoma State gets the extra yard, scores the touchdown, Cincinnati misses out on the playoff, Luke Fickell goes to Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman comes back to Cincinnati as the head coach, and then I think things look a lot different over these past 4 or 5 years. Now, would he probably already have been gone by now? Maybe. But it would have been interesting to see. It's just interesting, all the dominoes that happen and how they play out and what it means. That would have been a great opportunity to get Freeman here before he got elevated to head coach at Notre Dame. Luke would have gotten Notre Dame. I don't know how that would have played out, but it would have been fascinating how inches change decades.
I was going to say it's a game of inches, and you beat me to it.
Yep. Jared wants to know if we can address the TQL move. I can say this. I have heard it is possible, maybe even probable. I don't think it is done yet, which is why we haven't reported anything yet, because I am not going to put us in a situation where we say this is happening and it falls through. But it does look very likely, possible, potentially probable that Cincinnati and Miami's game that was scheduled for Paul Brown Stadium will move to TQL Stadium. I kind of love it. I hate college games at Paul Brown Stadium. I don't think you can get enough people in there for it to be interesting unless it's Texas, Oklahoma, like a Ohio State, like a massive name that's really going to fill the place up. We have seen Cincinnati, Miami does not fill the place up. So it's kind of a sterile, a little bit of a slow environment. TQL with under 30,000 seats, that place is going to be full. I think it's a great place to watch sports. I think it would be really, really cool to see that game there. I think it's a perfect place for that game. Like if they were going to continue to do this, I would do it there.
Does that mean that we won't have games at Nippert against Miami anymore?
Miami bought out of that. So Miami has said they are not coming to Nippert anymore. And UC has said, okay, well, then we're not coming to Miami. So if this is ever, unless it's a bye game where Cincinnati pays them to come to Nippert, if this is going to be played, it's probably going to be neutral in some way, shape, or form. If this works, I'd love to see it there every 4 or 5 years, on years that Cincinnati already has 7 home games.
That wannabe Ivy League mindset of theirs.
No, it's money, Aaron. They said they don't want to play at Nippert anymore because they want to be a buy game. They want to go get paid $1.5 million to get their teeth kicked in by somebody. So more power to them. I ain't mad at them.
I just like to make fun of them for the fact that they think they're an Ivy.
The Ohio's Ivy, right? The Ivy in the Midwest.
There's no such thing. All right. Keep it moving though into the basketball portion of the mailbag. We'll start off right at the top. Yes, the Bearcats make the NCAA tourney. No, they don't.
Right now, I'll say no.
I agree.
But if they win tomorrow, my tune might change. I might have a different answer on the BCJ pod Wednesday night.
Might have a different answer after every single game, depending on what happens.
Yes.
True.
I mean, it is crazy because like the wins are so good to the point that it's like they're in the conversation, but there's some bad losses and a lot of them, a lot of losses. So I don't know. I don't think they're in right now. Yeah, I don't think they're in right now, but they're right there. They're creeping up.
Making it interesting. All right. Do any of you know if colleges are buying insurance on NIL deals yet, like they do in the pros? And if someone gets hurt, how does that impact the contract? For instance, with Big Slime, will they get any insurance money since he didn't play? And does he have any future contractual obligation to UC since he did not play?
There's no chance that they can buy insurance on NIL because that does not have anything to do with the school. So, no. I'm guessing there is a way to insure rev share, but we haven't heard of anything yet that would allow, we haven't seen any precedent yet on that. But in terms of just NIL, no, that is for name, image, and likeness. It does not come from the university. Therefore, the university cannot insure it. So, no.
All right. The scheduling this year of Big 12 games has been fantastic. Was this by design? And can we expect more of this in the future or just how it played out this year?
I think there had to be some intentionality to it. We all knew coming into the season, these 6 teams are going to be awesome. And they are. And every Monday and every Saturday, you have at least one, and sometimes on Saturday, 2 of these monsters commingling. Right. Big Monday's always been like this. That Monday night, 9 p.m. time slot has always been the best of the best the Big 12 has to offer. I just think when you have 6 good teams and they're all playing down the stretch, it gives the schedulers a chance to do something really cool, which is this. I mean, the last 3 Big Mondays,
amazing,
have been incredible. Just absolutely incredible.
The crazy BYU comeback that, I mean, they weren't going to really win, but they were right there. They only lost by 3. But yeah, it's
good.
Well, no. So you keep mentioning the 6 top Big 12 teams. It is weird because there's the 6 and then there's UCF. But I feel like the Big 12 is just like good enough where the committee's going to be like, we need to have someone like an 8th team out of the Big 12 go. So, oh, you don't think so? It's just
no.
It's all just team sheets and,
how it looks.
Yeah.
Conference doesn't come into it at all. And I think the only Big 12 rep is the Oklahoma State AD.
Yeah.
Nobody's listening to him. But Saturday, so you've got this tonight, Houston and Kansas tonight. Saturday, Kansas at Arizona and Texas Tech at Iowa State. And then a week from tonight, number 4 Iowa State at number 2 Arizona.
Hits keep coming.
And then the final Saturday of the season is Texas Tech at BYU.
And then I mean, on Saturday, there was great college basketball the whole day, but the Big 12 had a couple of really good games too. So it's just.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've done it every Monday, every Saturday. It's been like Big 12 showcase. I mean, you had Arizona and Houston.
Yeah. And then DeBonsa against Iowa State had 29, 11, and 9. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. So I'm sure there was some intentionality at scheduling as many of these in February into March as humanly possible, but it also helps when everything says you're going to have 6 top 20 teams and then you have 6 top 20 teams. It makes the schedule look really smart. Kudos to that guy, although I hate that guy.
Keep it simple. Has Wes figured it out?
I think he's figured this team out, or at least what, some of the right buttons to push for this team.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like fraudulent. It's like early in the year, some of the runs seemed a little fraudulent, like getting up early against Louisville, just because like Louisville didn't make a shot in the first 10 minutes. But like, you watch that game against Kansas, you watch the other games, Kansas State and UCF, and it looks like legit. It doesn't look fluky. So I think everyone's starting to figure it out.
You don't fraudulently beat 2 top 10 teams. That's not a thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
We'll see. I don't know. I know somebody mentioned in the chat earlier that they don't love Wes apologizing for some guys not getting minutes and all of that. Well, I don't know that that's necessarily entirely what was happening there. I think it'll be interesting to see if lineups, Brent talked about earlier, if lineups change when Abayev comes back, what you do against Tech and BYU as opposed to what you do against Oklahoma State. I think those are going to be entirely different. But
just win, baby.
Would you take a tournament berth this year, but it means Wes is retained, or no tournament and UC is the top job in the carousel?
Always take winning. Always.
Tournament.
Every time.
Being the top job in the carousel doesn't mean you get a great coach. It doesn't.
There's also no guarantee that they're the top job in the carousel.
Right. Well, the hypothetical is
that they are.
Make the tournament or be the top job in the carousel. So I always take wins. Always. Okay. Even though I just talked about what would happen but that didn't include UC losing. That was just Oklahoma State getting 1 extra foot and then changing the math of how all that played out. So I feel good that I didn't talk myself into a pretzel, but always take winning. Always.
At the beginning of the season, all we wanted was for this team to make the tournament. That's all we wanted.
Yeah.
You don't get to change halfway through because it didn't look pretty. If you limped your way into the tournament, you still made the tournament. And again, that's all you wanted.
This, Aaron, would be the exact opposite of limping into the tournament, because they would have to win 7 of 8, 8 of 8. Like, they would be sprinting into the tournament. They limped out of the gate, and then somebody gave them like a cortisol shot or something at the turn, and then they sprinted in.
Yeah. I mean, they Bill Self says that we're a tournament team, so we're a tournament team. So
should probably just lock it up.
I think we're in.
To quote Wes Miller, not to make excuses, but there were a ton of injuries. So to get into the tournament would be a really big deal.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Always take success. Always.
Time. All right. Have you ever seen anything like this? Just when a team looks completely dead in the water, they rise from the ashes like it's scripted, and suddenly we're talking about March Madness with the Cincinnati Bearcats back in the conversation.
I have an answer. Anybody else?
Are you going to reference the Sweet 16 team?
Maybe.
I have not seen this before.
It's crazy.
Well, there was a team that lost to a religion and got in a fight in Marshall. And then they had
lost to a really bad St. John's team, lost to a really bad Rutgers team.
And they played Oklahoma with 6 players and Jermaine Sanders at center.
Yeah.
So.
And then that team won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 6 down the stretch and made it to the finals of the Big East Conference tournament, got in, beat what was at the time maybe one of the hottest teams in the country in Florida State, who had won the ACC regular season and tournament, and made it to the Sweet 16. So yeah, that team was essentially dead in the water on February 11th when they lost to Marquette. They're 17-8, 7-5 in the conference with Seton Hall, Louisville, South Florida, Marquette coming up down the stretch that were all really good that year. Or Seton Hall was okay, but everybody else really good that year. And they got the job done.
This was a tad different though, just because it's like all new players type ordeal. Like that team had like guys you remembered from the year before and were hopeful for, but this is just this is nuts. Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
You're fine. Kansas game. The key stat of the game. Number 1, UC with 8 more threes. Number 2, points off turnovers 15-3. Or number 3, rebounds 40-29.
It was honestly more than 8 more threes because Kansas made 4. 2 of them were in the final minute and a half when it was a blowout. So they really made 2 threes the whole game.
Yeah, I would say answer here would be the 8 more threes, but I just think that just the post play was the key stat of the game. I mean, I know Flory got his own too, but just the way Baba and Chom play is just amazing.
Yeah.
And what's the second part?
I agree with you, Brad.
The 46 to what?
No,
22
play of the game. UC play of the game.
Well, I was saying, Brent, the post play 46 points to 22 was the post play numbers there. So I'm in agreement. So it's definitely the threes. They were momentum shifting and all of that. Huge. Mm-hmm. Play of the game though. 1, the 6-minute mark, Celestine turnaround 3 with the score 63-58. Number 2, the 8-minute mark, Chom left-hand hook score 58-54. Or number 3, Day 3 to go up 11 under 4.
I think the Day 3.
Yeah.
I think the Celestine 3
was silly.
Really like the spark. He got an offensive rebound, just dribbled back to the 3-point line and said, "Fuck it, YOLO." Like
it's like it was a play that you do with your friends in the driveway when you're playing 21.
House money, baby.
Yeah, like when he shot the 1 versus X. It was the no. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Okay, never mind. Good job, man.
But the Day one to get it over double digits under 4 minutes, felt like that one you could start to see the finish line.
Yeah, it was a dagger shot.
Yeah, you could start to see the finish line. Self takes his final time out. Like, they're frustrated. Like
that's when I yelled really loud.
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement on that one too. Weird that we're all agreeing. All right. Will we continue to see inside-out basketball at this level? This is the key to continued success. Are you convinced we will continue to try and do this, and will we be able to execute this if we do try this consistently?
I mean, I think they're absolutely going to continue to let Baba try to play make with the ball in his hands, and they should, because that is when the offense is at its best. He's not your best ball handler, but in terms of against a matchup, he's the guy that creates the biggest mismatch. And then what we've seen a ton, why Cham has looked so much better, is because the defense has to react to Baba playing downhill. Help defender comes over, Baba makes a pass to Cham. Cham has a much easier path to put the ball in the basket. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, guess what? It's on tape. And teams are going to do what they can to try to slide a defender down. Cincinnati's going to have to make them pay for that. Like, if somebody comes down, if they're in half coverage where, you know, the main defender is on him, but there's a secondary defender that's not fully committed, but is like in the way, they're going to have to make the right pass, hit the shot, and make the other team pay for that. Because guess what? There's other coaches breaking down this tape. They are going to see it and say, we have got to keep Baba out of the lane. We have got to limit him. Now, the other thing that's kind of been opening this up is that he has started to look more normal from three. And now he's making some threes here and there. So you can't just sag his defender off of him. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. The adjustments are coming. They will come Tuesday night. So we'll see how Cincinnati's offense handles it, and can they execute the necessary things to make teams pay for trying to stop Baba Miller from getting in the paint. The other key thing, I think somebody mentioned it, Baba is by far the best interior passer on the team.
Yeah, without question.
Yeah, that was me when I mentioned that, Chad. Thank you. Anyway,
good job, Brent.
Thank you, brother. As far as it goes, though, like as long as you have the guards hitting threes, Jizzle didn't have like the greatest day on Saturday, but he was hot the week before, and so that just continues.
They need Day to get hot again. Like we need those 2 threes that Day hit at the end of that Kansas game to spark another Day hot streak
for sure. So and Celestine is just he's not afraid. He is just not afraid.
I'd almost argue that this was what they wanted to do on offense since conference play started. It's just we're actually seeing them knock down the shots and the right guys taking the shots
and making the shots. That's the biggest part. They've had a lot of open shots.
Yeah,
just missed a lot of open shots.
But that's what I started with. I know. They're making them.
I'm saying that's the more important part.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say that they have the right guys taking the shot, Aaron, when Cham, Miller, and Buck Harris were 5 of 8 from 3. And if you'd have said they took 8 threes a week ago, Aaron his head would have exploded.
The difference is they're only taking no, I mean, yes, but you're only seeing Buck take 1 instead of 3 or 4.
Cham took 5.
I yelled at the TV every time.
Hey, it was his birthday. Let him be, man. Let him be.
Go, shouty. It's your birthday.
28 points on your birthday. Golly.
All right. Follow up to this. I don't know. Follow up to something in the chat. What have teams been doing to prevent UC from going inside out? It would seem like this has to be top of mind for any coach looking to defend UC. if we can draw the defense and kick out with the way Jizzle, Dede, and Celestine are shooting, this team has a chance to do some things. We touched on
mostly touched on it. Yeah. I mean, they were one, UC just wasn't shooting well. And offense in college basketball in 2026 is very difficult if you're not shooting well. And it's not like any of these guys are true just back to the basket bullies. Like Cham is at his best from 10, 15 feet. Yeah. Baba's at his best playing 20 feet in and driving and getting to the rim, getting, in position to make a shot. Like, they're not just playing inside out in the traditional old school sense of playing inside out. So shot making changes a lot, man. It makes everything so much easier to accomplish.
Agreed. Was listening to the Kansas Aftermath and specifically the topic around seeing success with a shortened bench, 7 to 8 guys. If Wes gets another year, do you think the strategy changes at all with NIL/rev share spending? We've seen Wes spend with the idea of trying to go 10 plus deep for several years now, and it makes me wonder if he'll try and shift the bulk of his spending to a few top of the Big 12 players and then supplement from there, knowing that he's had success with smaller rotations.
Let me ask you this, Cincy 95. Let's say they had done that this year. And this is coming from someone that has acknowledged a bunch. I think things are operating better with a little bit of a shorter rotation. But at the beginning of this year, true or false, 3 of those top 7 or 8 guys that you're talking about would have been Jizzle James, Jalen Hayes, and Sean Abayev. Jizzle James missed a large part of the beginning of the season. Jalen Hayes has missed the entire season. Sean Abayev has missed the last month. So if you didn't build a roster that had capable Big 12 talent, then playing 7 or 8 wouldn't have mattered because your 7 or 8 wouldn't have been good enough.
Yeah.
You'd have had 4 or 3. And that makes it a lot more difficult. So it's a really fine line. Like if you guys probably won't remember, you guys in here will remember, but like UC Baylor, was it last year when their big guy got hurt? And I asked Scott Drew about why he didn't have a backup big guy. He said, because in the NIL era, you got to spend your money and then you run out of money. And then
that was last year.
Yeah. And then your big guy gets hurt and now you're playing without a big guy. Like you don't get to pick which guy gets hurt. You don't get to pick when they get hurt. You don't get to pick how long they're out for. Do I think I would aim a little bit more top heavy on my top 1 or 2 guys? Sure. But guess what, guys? They did that. They paid Baba Miller and Mustafa Cham a lot of money. Now, we can argue they didn't pay a scoring guard to do that like we have done. But in roster construction, the majority of the money on this roster went to those 2 guys. And now you're finding out why. You could argue you would hope you had found out earlier, but it is what it is. Now you're finding out why they paid those 2 guys top of the roster money. So I get you need 9 or 10 Big 12 capable players on your roster. How you accomplish that is a very difficult task in 2026. It's hard. Speaking of Lubbock, it's hard. It's hard. Brent, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you might. It's interesting to see if he would then try and get like a scoring guard, like you're saying. But I mean, in conference play, you've seen Cham and Baba's minutes uptick a lot as well. So that goal of having those 2 guys is coming to fruition. But I think you gotta be a little choosy because now you see injuries all over the country going on right now, and teams having to adjust after they get injured. So if it's only 7, 8 guys and you don't have anything past that, then you're pretty screwed if plan A doesn't work out. Right now, Cincinnati's on plan C and it's working out pretty well. So I think you can do both.
That. Plan C. All right. Where do you see Keyshawn Tillery developing over the next couple of years as he heads into year 2? Do you think his long-term potential is higher than what Day and Jizzle had going into their sophomore seasons?
Go ahead, guys. I talk too much.
I mean that. I don't know. I think it's different. I don't want to down talk anyone. I would say you'd hope that he would be, take steps further than Day and Jizzle, because I mean Day and Jizzle, for however much we like them, they aren't all league players, and you want potentially to hopefully have a top 50 guard develop into an all league type player. So hopefully more, I guess. But I don't know.
Well, I will say that we didn't see Day's sophomore season as he was in JUCO. So I don't know what his sophomore season looked like, and I think that Keyshawn Tillery is probably well developed ahead of where Day was in JUCO. That said, Jizzle missed. This is what, Jizzle's junior year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Jizzle had a weird year last year in his sophomore year. He didn't, I mean, whatever went on in the up to December, I think it was January. It was I guess the non-con was fine, but then when we got into conference play, it was like towards the end of non-con and early conference. Yeah,
call it what it is.
Then when the conference play started, it was all weird. So I would hope that just with X factors ruled out, that he has a better sophomore year, simply because not in JUCO and not having to deal with a newborn, and all that entails, the delivery and then the baby being there. It just seemed that Jizzle, for all the reasons, it had his head elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So I would imagine Tillery probably has a better sophomore year.
Yeah, but when you say Day, you're talking about his second year at Cincinnati, but that was his fourth year, like out of high school. So it's a different format.
Talking about a 22-year-old instead of a
19, like 18, 19-year-old. So it's a different math, man. I get what you're saying, but you're comparing two completely different things. Brent, what do you think?
Yeah, like I said, it's I mean, Jizzle, he had that great run in the NIT his freshman year, where he was scoring like 20 plus in pretty much all those games. I don't think we see Tillery going off for 20 plus in the Big 12 tournament this year. So, but if he has to have a larger role, if that's the plan, I think obviously it probably is. If Day-Day's gone, then you know what I mean. I don't know. You would want his long-term potential to be higher, like I said, because you want to have all league guards. You want to have, the potential to be better than what we currently have. Then I don't know. I think you want it to be higher, so why not?
Big thing for me is he's already a really good defender, and he's already the best guard on the team at getting in the lane.
Yeah,
he is still not where he needs to be as a decision maker in some of those opportunities, but that's going to come. I fully believe with this kid, that's going to come. The offense is already starting to uptick. Like he's taking, like I said, he's not passing up opportunities to take open shots like he was earlier in the year. He's not just being a ball mover. He's made a couple threes. He's grown his confidence there. He's taking good ones. I don't think he's taken really more than one or two I can think of that were like, come on, Key, you got to know better than that. He's got to get better on the turnovers. But I think he has the potential to be one of those like smaller Villanova, UConn style guards from a decade ago, where he's just an absolute menace defensively, keeping you from getting in your offense. And I think he can be a point guard, that can score, but is more setting your team up, leading, getting you in your stuff, getting the ball where it needs to go, into the hands of the right people. I think the biggest thing is that, right? He's a point guard. Those two guys are combo guards. They're smaller combo guards. And I don't think we're ever going to see Keyshawn Tillery mistaken for a 2. You know what I mean? He's a point guard. So I'm very high on his potential.
All right. This next question we pretty much answered already. I don't know if we're going to have anything new here, but do you think this stretch of games has finally taught Wes that playing less players is actually a good thing? If so, and if he is retained, I'll be very interested to see if he actually adjusts his recruiting strategy to what the other top Big 12 teams do and give the vast majority of money to about 3 players and not worry about spots 8 through 15 on the roster.
Yeah, guess what? I'm guessing BYU wishes they had another guy. I'm guessing Texas Tech wishes they had another guy because they had guys go down, and we don't know if they're properly going to be able to replace them down the stretch. They spent all their money on their top 3 guys, and we've questioned their bench. We've questioned their ability to be really good without one of those big money spends. And in Texas Tech's case, they spent big money on 2 guys. And now one of them's gone. What is this going to look like as things settle in without JT Toppin down the stretch and into the tournament? So
couldn't you make the same case for Kansas State? They spent a lot of money on PJ Haggerty and they're trash.
Yeah. The interesting thing is what doesn't ever get brought up in these conversations is every year as the season goes on, Wes has reduced his bench. When Sean Abayev was struggling, Wes was playing him 12 minutes, 7 minutes. Like we talked about it a bunch on here before the ankle sprain that he wasn't producing. Last year, he reduced Dan Skilling's minutes. Maybe your argument is he didn't do it fast enough. But last year, if you remember, Dan had 3 games of 18 points to open up Big 12 play. And then he had a little bit of a dip. And then decisions had to be made. But it wasn't like that was like Dan came back from the knee injury and was terrible right away. And Wes didn't see it. Like he was your best player to open Big 12 play last year. And then he fell off a cliff.
Some weeks he had more TikToks than points. It was crazy.
Yeah. So no, I don't. I think you still have to build an 8, 9, 10-man roster that has capable Big 12 players on it. Now, how you use that and how that plays out over the course of a season, you want to see as you're getting closer and closer to March that your top 7 guys are playing the vast majority of the minutes. That's something Wes has done. And actually, if you go back and look, when he has done that in the past, they have not been as successful down the stretch and they have struggled. But that's an inconvenience on how this has been perceived, because I don't think it's a bad thing to play 10, 11 guys in November and December.
No.
I don't. I just don't. I think it's fine. And then you figure out as you're going through that, these are going to be my main guys when the chips are down, when we're playing these big games in the Big 12.
Yeah.
These are the 7 or 8 guys that are going to be on the floor.
Yeah, I imagine earlier. That's what I was talking about earlier when I said I think that what you see against Tech and BYU is going to look very different than what you see against maybe Oklahoma State and TCU.
Maybe.
You were trying to add something, Brent, or
no? I kind of hope it's not. I think you want to kind of get a rhythm and a flow going as you just win these games. Maybe if it's a blowout and you're beating Oklahoma State, you get extra run for those guys. But no, I think most coaches would prefer having a more extensive rotation in the non-conference as you try and figure out exactly what flows the best on the court. So
I'm looking at it right now. The last 3 games of the regular season last year when they were struggling, 7 guys. And then, that Tyler Betsy and Arrington Page had been moved completely out of the rotation. They had a 7-man rotation.
I remember
and they lost 3 in a row. It wasn't some magic elixir. The team wasn't playing well enough.
Do you think the team has played better as a result of them just going out and having fun? Maybe they knew the end was here and the pressure was lifted mostly off of Wes and just started to play good because of it.
No.
I mean, I think like some credence to like not like that they're just having fun, but more so like when you're not so uptight. You know, Wes mentioned it where like especially in the West Virginia game, they got like tense and they got real uptight in the second half. So maybe like a change of philosophy over the last 4 games was telling them to be loose and don't worry too much about, you know, this, that, and the other. And maybe that has a little bit more something to do with like not stressing too much, but I don't think it's just having fun.
Ryan's a fair asking this question because that 2021 team played like they had the weight of the world on their shoulders for a month.
Yeah. Because we knew the consequences of losing versus like winning. We were expected to win. But if we were to drop any of those games, like it literally meant like we ruined like a 5-year like build up for like this great moment towards like a playoff run. Yeah. So, and it's like you were never going to be satisfied like beating a team that you were better than every single week, like because you want to play the best, you want to beat the best, and if you're not playing your best and kind of squeaking by some wins against lower tier opponents, it just doesn't. You always leave with a bad taste in your mouth.
I don't think they're playing any different. I think they're playing better. They're making shots. They're executing at a much higher level than they were before. I don't think it's related to, you know, after the West Virginia game, they decided, you know, screw it. We're just going to have fun.
Would be wild if that is what happened.
Yeah.
We make the joke every aftermath. They're finally playing the make shots offense. And
I like that one.
Now they're scoring 80, 90 points a game. It's crazy.
They've averaged 84 over their last 4. I'm a big fan of the make shots offense.
High level.
Watch party for Tech.
No, I've got too much crap going on tomorrow, unfortunately. I'm going to be racing to get home at 7:00 for the start of the game. So if you want to go to the Grail, go to the Grail and watch the game. You can absolutely do that. If you guys want to make it down there, please feel free.
And if you can't make it to the Grail, or if you just want to stay closer to the west side, go on to Hail Mary's in Cheviot.
Or Remington Tavern, wherever Remington Tavern.
That's the east side.
Yeah, we got you covered.
Or head to Galactic Chicken. Get the
Galactic Fried Chicken over in Northern Kentucky.
Before the game.
Yeah, take it home.
Yeah.
They have a bar. You can drink there.
They do. They have a bar, but they have alcohol.
You can sit at the bar. I mean, it's
a little different now. They remodeled it, so
I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah, you need the sauce.
Yeah, just buy sauce and leave. Put it on everything. Day Thomas is shooting 91% from the free throw line. How many recent Bearcats or all-time Bearcats have shot greater than 90% for the season with a minimum of 50 free throws?
I don't believe anyone.
No, it was answered in the chat.
Close a couple times. But no 90%ers.
Day would have more free throws if he ever drove to the hoop, ever.
And got a call. He does drive to the hoop some. He gets hammered, and they just never call a foul on Day Thomas drives to the rim.
Last year, he did the same thing and got hammered almost every time. I feel like he stopped driving this season compared to last season because of how many calls he did not get last season.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, that ends the basketball portion of the mailbag. Thank God.
Yeah.
Moving on to the baseball portion of the mailbag, there is one question. Which one-run loss was more concerning in the big picture, the 12-11 walk-off or the 1-0 shutout? Or is it too early to worry about giving up 12 runs or being shut out within a 6-day time frame?
It's still too early, but man, that
The walk-off
game. They had that game in the bag so many times and just couldn't close the door. They just kept letting them hang around, and then eventually it cost them. The 1-0 one, this is not a UC team that's going to get shut out much. They had a bunch of guys on base, but they just couldn't. They had walks, hit batters. They just couldn't get the timely hit to drive a guy in. Sometimes that's baseball. That's just going to happen.
Baseball.
And they were up, 11-6, 11-8, 11-9, and then gave up the 3-run
The
bomb.
walk-off was just, it's the worst way to lose, too. Because you, like you said, you felt like you were going to win just nonstop. And then...
By the way, Thursday night, 8:30, the new Bearcat Journal baseball show debuts with either me or Aaron, depending on schedules, which one of us will be hosting. But Jeff Gentle and Tim Adams are starting a new UC baseball show with us that will be airing Thursday nights at 8:30. Half hour, 40 minutes. Not going to do the full 2-hour deal, but we'll give you a recap of the week that was, look ahead to the weekend matchup. But for you UC baseball fans, there will be a Bearcat Journal baseball show starting Thursday night.
Lock it in.
8:30.
All right. And last but not least, the banks. Rank these 8 sports in order of personal preference.
No. 8. No.
College basketball, pro football, college football, pro baseball, college baseball, pro hockey, Olympic hockey.
Hockey's going to be last for me, both of them, because I think it's a really hard sport to follow on TV, and I just don't have the bandwidth for it. College basketball, pro baseball, college football, pro basketball, then college baseball, and then the 2 hockeys, because I don't follow hockey.
I'll have to go college football. This is hard between hockey and pro baseball. College football, pro hockey, pro baseball, pro football, college basketball, professional basketball, Olympic hockey. Now, the Browns have been so freaking bad. So if the Browns start getting good,
then
pro football will take over second place.
Your boy Myles Garrett was at the Miami game the other night.
Really?
Yes, he was. Yeah. College basketball, college football, pro football, pro baseball, college baseball, Olympic hockey, pro hockey. Oh, pro basketball is up there somewhere. There we go. That's a fun question, Killer B.
I'll go pro football, college football, college basketball, pro baseball, college baseball, pro basketball, and hockey is not even on the list. I just could not care less that it even exists.
Gotta get you on the Blue Jackets, Aaron.
Hell no. I will not support any. If the entire city of Columbus fell into a hole, I'd be happy. The whole city.
Oh my God. That'd mean my parents and sister would be gone.
They're visiting you when that happens. They're visiting you. It's fine. And last but not least, what was your this almost went wrong moment with fireworks? Throw it in reverse, Terry.
I don't know. I mean, nothing. One of my buddies probably holding it to the last possible second before he throws it up in the air.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Those scenarios.
Yeah.
I had enough issues with fire. I never trusted myself with fireworks. I did.
Oh, you're a pyro, so
I did not mess with fireworks.
The one for me would be for some reason, the people that live 2 doors down from us right now decided to let their like 12-year-olds let off like fireworks, like not like a bottle rocket, like fireworks. And
mortars.
One of them tipped over and shot at the 10 people that were sitting in my driveway. And I honestly thought my cousin was going to murder those boys.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I don't really mess around with that jazz. I just sit back and watch.
Well, we were just sitting back and watching, and then one of their fireworks almost exploded in my whole house. Idiots.
Katy Perry.
It's murder.
Oh,
they were literally like 12, 13 years old.
Speaking of fireworks, big fireworks display tomorrow night. Texas Tech game. Bearcats shooting hoops. Let's hope for a win, guys. Why not? You know, did you know that if you sort the data on Bartorvik, Chad, that during this 4-game winning streak, the Bearcats are
top 10 team,
6th in the country.
Brent, we have to do everything that we normally do, though. So because you cut me off, and just to make sure that we're keeping the streak alive, that's the end of the mailbag. Get us out of here, Brent.
Oh, golly.
Toughness wants to know if Royer and Brent can touch tips for good luck tomorrow.
All right, Brent. Oh, go. Oh, wait.
This is the dumbest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You fit in quite nicely, my friend.
It's not as weird as when you're side by side.
It's all of it's weird.
It's still weird, but it's not as weird as when you're side by side.
I literally think StreamYard created this little box thing just for that. Like, once you find that out, it's like super fun to do, and it's really cool.
Get us out of here, Brent.
You can kind of feel it, like I could kind of feel Ryan right there, and it just makes me so happy. So, what's up? Oh, hey, all right. So, big game tonight, tomorrow night. Sorry, Texas Tech Red Raiders, 7 p.m. ESPN 2. Make sure you locked in. Big game. See if they can't continue this magic run. 4 straight wins in the Big 12, first time ever for the Bearcats. So lock in, load. But hey, we had Nico Palazetti on the pod earlier. So shouts to him. Shouts to Danco Transmission Out of Care. Shouts to Cincy Light. Shouts to Quick Paper Supply. Shouts to Greg Hooden. Shouts to Ryan Royer. And shouts to Wes Miller. But for the guys, for the crew, for the squad, for Aaron Smith, for Chad Brendel, and for Ryan Royer, I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!